Okay, the major backlog of containers.
Welcome to the Children of the Book. I want to talk to you today about a little bit of what's going on in the country and in the world as it pertains to the Hebrew that is trapped in America and scattered abroad. What we really know what's going on in the news today, they show us everything that they show us. And this video is pertaining to Christmas, actually. It's pertaining to Christmas, and it's pertaining to the cargo ships that are, all the news is telling us, is docked off the coast of California and New York, and how that is going to affect the Hebrew community. America would like for you to prepare for Christmas. And that's what this is, the big gearing up, the big push. Whatever they throw in front of you, whether it's getting the stick in your arm or it's getting you prepared for Christmas, whatever it is, remember that capitalism is a beast that must be fed. That means that if everybody just decides that they don't want to work, America falls. If everybody decides that they don't want to spend their money, America falls. America is built off capitalism, and it was built off the backs of Negroes. They capitalized on the fact that we had been rejected by our father, and because of that, because of what we did it ourselves, but he did it to us. And that's why we were able to sustain through slavery. And that's why we didn't have the heart to try to fight back and run away and do all of these things. And I know that we did have individuals, but I mean on a national level. Our people never rose up enough, say like Haiti, to just go against the slave masters and owners and things of that nature. And so they capitalized on us. And after they released us from slavery, they continued to capitalize on us. With football, baseball, basketball, whatever else, whether you're rapping or you're singing or you're doing Christian music or you're doing hip hop or the blues or jazz or whatever it is, they capitalize off of our talents. Judah means praise. And if I remember, the late Stephen Darby said that our praise, Judah's praise, has been prostituted. It's been pimped out. It's not in its pure form anymore, to where we would praise the Most High. Now we sing and we make raps and we do all of these things. We entertain our captives. And that is just the gist of it, and that's where we are. And a lot of us don't want to accept it and we don't like it, but it just is what it is. So back to the video. America's trying to get us to spend our money for Christmas. The nation's largest ports shattered more records Monday as massive bottlenecks at the ports of LA and Long Beach continue to wreak havoc on the supply chain. The Marine Exchange of Southern California reported that 100 vessels were berthed October the 18th, topping the previous record of 94 set in September, September the 19th. And both figures are astonishingly higher than during pre-pandemic times, when just 17 ships were anchored. Of course, they blame this on the COVID. Everything gets blamed now because of COVID. But what they're not telling you is that the backlog is, it's not, I mean, we want to blame climate change. We want to blame, this is the way the Most High said that things were going to happen. This is what Revelations 18 is talking about. The coasts where the ships set out on the coast ready to unload their supplies, but then all of a sudden within 1 hour Babylon is destroyed. Now, is it going to happen right now? No, I wouldn't say that, but I would say that we need to pay attention to what's going on. And this bottom here, this is just a map of where the ships are backlogged. There's a lot of them here in this circle. If you can follow my cursor, these are the normal routes. These are maybe the actual normal waiting. And these bad boys over here, they're just now coming in. And toward, to the left of the screen is Japan, China, whatever else is over there, Taiwan. So all of these ships are coming from there to California. There's not such a big push coming from the north side, or excuse me, from the east side, from the east coast, even though they are backed up with maybe 24, 25 ships. It's no way backed up as much as it is on this Pacific coast. And reason being is we get the majority of our supplies, our manufactured items come from China. They come from the Asian community, from the South Pacific, the Philippines, and all of those places. And that's just easier for them to come straight here. Now, it probably would make sense if you're going to be sitting there in a port for 30 days waiting on your ship to be unanchored, that maybe you find another route, but then you would have to go, I think you would have to probably go around South America. I don't even know if the Panama Canal is still being used, but it's just a mess. But they're going to scare you and try to make a big deal out of it, in the sense that they want you to spend your money on Christmas. And this next article here, same thing. Nearly 500,000 shipping containers are stuck off the coast of Southern California as the ports operate below capacity. Now, they're going to blame it on the ports. They're going to blame it on a lot of things. And this visual here, this is just the ship sitting out on the horizon waiting to be unloaded. And they have all of the Nikes that you like. They have all of the gold chains and whatever it is that you're looking for Christmas. The gloves, the jackets, the boots, the whatever it is are out there on those ships. The largest port in the U.S. faces near record backlog of cargo ships, and there is no end in sight. Let me repeat that. There is no end in sight. Now, it's going to be important as we progress forward. On Tuesday, LA had nearly 500,000 20-foot shipping containers, or about 12 million metric tons of goods, waiting in drift areas and at anchor for spots to open up along the port to dock and unload, according to data pulled from the Marine Exchange of Southern California's master queuing list. The port has 19 mega container ships waiting to dock, the largest of which is carrying 6,022 20-foot shipping containers. That's huge. The problem is the ships are double or triple size of the ships that we were seeing 10, 15 years ago. They take longer to unload. You need more trucks, more trains, more warehouses to put the cargo. The ports had 90 container ships in the port. 63 were waiting off the shore on Tuesday, the number far above the port's pre-pandemic average of 0 to 1 ships at anchor. Now, the reason why it affects everything, and the trains are running with robot trains now, so be careful when you're crossing the railroad tracks. But the ships are bigger, the cargo containers are larger, and the guy said, they weren't seeing the ships are double or triple the size of the ships they were seeing 10 and 15 years ago. And the reason why is the beast has to be fed. The beast has to be fed. And who feeds the beast? Well, the little people, the minions, the sheep, the cattle that are herded in and out all day. We feed the beast by spending our money. And what's going on here is that they just tell you about there's toys. Let me get here. Cargo ships anchored off New York and LA face a 4-week wait to unload amid unprecedented supply chain crisis. Now, they tell us about New York, LA, they keep that in the news 24/7, but they don't say very much about New York. So what's happening is that it's slowing down everywhere. And not only here, it's also slowing down in other parts of the world. Africa has like 1,000 ships waiting to be unloaded. Dozens of cargo ships anchored off the coast of LA and New York face shocking wait times of up to 4 weeks, and railroads and trucking routes are hopelessly clogged due to the lack of manpower to unload goods, with an expert warning that the government needs to intervene or face spiraling inflation and unemployment. Well, inflation is already happening. We've already been suffering from unemployment since the Great Recession, that it never really got rectified. The numbers just got skewed to show you how great we were doing, and that was all a lie. Supply chains have lagged far behind consumer demand due to lack of manpower. We read that. Global infrastructure was not designed to handle goods at such a rate, the logistics expert says, who asked not to be named. Supply chains are the artery who feeds the entire ecosystem. The government needs to intervene to stop this crisis immediately, or, again, face increased inflation and larger amounts of unemployment. What we see here in the picture here, Chicago has the world's largest railroad hub, where there are trains backed up by 25 miles. So you have 25 miles worth of trains trying to be unloaded or waiting to be unloaded. Here in LA, you have 100 ships now. It says 66, but the new numbers are like 100 for today, are anchored off of LA and Long Beach ports with wait times of up to 4 weeks. Now, remember this here in California, because they just had an oil spill last week, and they blamed it on the anchors, and maybe the ships were dragging the pipeline until it burst or whatever. So imagine now you got 100 ships sitting out here now. So wherever your pipelines and things are, you probably need to make sure that the ships aren't going to drop anchor there. San Antonio is the only one that's kind of in the green, and it is basically a trucking route where they unload, they put it directly on trucks, and then the trucks run through the heart of the country, delivering those Christmas items. The traffic jams at ports on the California and Atlantic coasts have reached alarming heights in the past 18 months, and the buildup of cargo along the coast is hindering the U.S. supply chain system of railways and truck routes. And this is just a view of the ships and how they look, how the dock looks. And I even read an article last week. I guess they call these guys stevedores that do all the unloading of the cargo ships. Well, they're making big money now because they're working 24/7, and then with the unions and all of that to get all of these ships unloaded. So there was an article that I read. I'm not exactly sure where it was, so I won't try to give a name. But it said that some of the workers felt like others were lagging on purpose as far as getting these ships unloaded, because the longer it takes them, the more money they make. So I can't really blame that worker if he needs more money. then, instead of getting it done today, let's just finish it up tomorrow. We still gonna get paid. Demand for these goods has spiked so suddenly that when coupled when coupled with constraints, workers cannot process the products quick enough, and the demand only continuing to increase. And again, these are just ships sitting out here in the harbor, waiting for their chance to unload, and they may be there for a month. The ports of LA and Long Beach, and I guess one is one and one at the top. I'm not sure which one is which, but they should cover both of them. Two of the most popular shipping destinations in the U.S. are currently housing vessels that have been left anchored for 4 weeks, awaiting workers to unload their cargo filled with billions of dollars. Listen, billions of dollars of toys, clothing, electronics, vehicles, and furniture. So that's why you hadn't been seeing some of those new car commercials. They're all sitting out there on the water ready to get unloaded. See, this is the problem when you kill all of the jobs in your country and you the manufacturing jobs, and you ship it to other places. Now, this is a result of the NAFTA trade agreement, the free trade agreement back in the 90s. This is Bill Clinton's work here. The ports in LA and Long Beach along the California coast saw as many as 73 vessels waiting to unload earlier in September, and 66 container ships this week alone. Now remember, they said that this was going to last. They saw no end in sight. So what does that mean? Well, I don't know. I guess it's round the clock until it gets rectified. But it can't get rectified because once you're behind, you're never really going to catch up. So that means that ships will be sitting out in the harbor until you catch up. But I don't see us catching up. What does that, and trucks sitting idling for hours waiting to load containers out of ports across the U.S. coast, like those pictured here, are parked outside Port Jersey Terminal. There's also stories out there that these trucks and the cargo containers and all of that, they're just sitting them down in people's neighborhoods that are next to the coast. And you can't hardly get out of your driveway because there's an 18-wheeler waiting to pick up a container. Our members are tired, said Mike Podue, president of told the Washington Post of local chapter 3063. Our members are feeling the pain of the COVID deaths. We're lucky there hasn't been a major accident. So basically, they're saying that we're going to slow down because our guys are tired. As goods continue to fail to reach the marketplace, sitting stacked in cargo boxes along the Atlantic coast, New York and New Jersey's import volumes continue to climb and are up a startling 28% since the start of 2021. And this is a beautiful view of a cargo ship that is waiting to be unloaded. Ships like the one pictured here in Bayonne, New Jersey, are packed to the brim with countless products coming from Asia and need to be processed by workers in order to be offloaded and sent across the U.S. Pandemic-related hurdles and delays have caused the subsequent surge in prices of products shipped from overseas, and shipping container prices to soar, leaving the commercial pipeline that brings $1 trillion worth of products from Asia to the U.S. hopelessly snarled. So it's a money problem. So they're going to do everything they can, because remember, when money is your God, when money is what you live by, what you die by, cash rules everything around you type, then you're going to do anything that you can to get it fixed. But the problem with that is the Most High is causing this. He's laid a snare, and it's not going to get fixed. The bottlenecks at the ocean ports have also largely impeded the connected railway and trucking industries that form the U.S. supply chain system, creating unprecedented levels of congestion. And see, what the deal with America is that they're waiting on the little man to go out here and drive these trucks and not make anything, but the CEO of whatever company, he gets a $20 million bonus every year for sitting there doing nothing. So it's coming to a head, and it's going to pop. I trust me, it is going to pop. The traffic jams at Long Beach and LA ports, which serve as the main entry point from cargo coming from China, has led to goods shortages and price hikes, which are expected to worsen in the run up to the holidays. So prices are going up. They're going to make you pay double for that little Miss I Pita bed doll that your daughter wants, or maybe even triple by the time Christmas gets here. And this is just ships sitting around, trucks sitting around. The cargo is in the red. The tankers are in the green. What is my point? I'm not trying to be gloomy or show us how gloomy this is. It's really not. It seems that way. But my point in doing this, or sharing this particular video with us, or trying to make us understand that we need to be preparing ourselves. And when I say we need to be preparing ourselves, I don't mean for Christmas. I mean that we need to go back to the old way where parents tell their kids, "Hey, baby, we just can't do that," and it's just gonna have to be what it is, because I would rather be warm and have food in my house than have a bunch of toys that my kids are gonna forget about in the next month or two. And I'm saying that because we've experienced this summer, and what they say is climate change and all of those things. It's you have to know that we're going into winter, and it's only going to winter is going to ramp up and be a different kind of winter, is what I predict. And well, how do you predict that, brother? Well, do you remember last winter? And I'm in Texas. Do you remember last winter in Texas people? We had a lot of people died because they weren't ready for the cold that came. So what I'm saying is that when you see this backlog of toys and all of these kind of things, don't blow your money on that. If you're going to blow your money, go buy you a generator. Go buy you a heater, some blankets, some long johns, whatever it is that's going to get you through the winter. Because a bunch of toys and tricycles and skateboards, that is not going to get you through the winter. And I would rather my child be upset at me because I didn't get the little Miss Peter bed doll than sitting over there shivering cold and her belly's almost empty. And when it gets that bad, you can't really rely on people to help you. I remember in Texas, a bunch of brothers and sisters were trying to call the mayor and all of these different kind of elected officials in their town. And the people were like, it's not our responsibility to make sure that you stay warm. You're supposed to prepare. And that brings me to the mind of the ant and the grasshopper. And I know that we all remember that fable or whatever they want to call it, but the grasshopper, he popped his fingers all summer. He what we call jolly popping. He was just kicked back and the ants were working. Well, when the fall came, the weather started to change. The grasshopper was cold, but the ants had worked all summer and they had everything that they needed. We're in the same situation. Back to the article. The bottlenecks at the ocean ports in the Pacific have reached levels never seen before, with ships staying anchored for extended period of time. Instead of getting 30 to 40 boxes off a block of cars every day, you're getting full trains coming in with 250, 275 containers. Recently, we had a train arrive in Cleveland from Western Railroad interchanged with the CSX with around 272 boxes on it. That's very unusual, and we're just not fleeted for that. We can't handle this. Cities like Chicago and San Antonio, the busiest international land gateway in the country, in San Antonio, have been particularly affected by these bottlenecks. Demand for goods has spiked so suddenly that when coupled with constraints, workers cannot process the products quick enough. And the demand is only continuing to increase. Pre-COVID, the cost of shipping a container from China to the U.S. West Coast was roughly $1,300. Today, the cost has risen exponentially, with the cost transporting one container, $35,000. So Christmas, we just kind of probably need to go back to the old-fashioned Christmas and start making each other gifts. The cost of chartering aircraft is $2.5 million. Now, see, Bill Clinton wasn't thinking about this when they were opening up the free trade agreements and shutting down all of the manufacturing jobs in America. See, we're having this problem because we don't make anything in America anymore. So now it's a problem. We have to rely on the rest of the world. And China, one of our biggest enemies, has us by the nose because we're waiting on Christmas. I don't even think China celebrates Christmas. Why is this important? Okay. I'm going to go to Revelations 17 here, 18 and 19. For in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster, and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, and said, What a city is like unto this great city. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, the great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour she is made desolate. And this is Revelations 18, verses 17 through 19. I would suggest that you read the entire chapter of Revelation, as well as Jeremiah 50, 51, and find out what is going on. Because how do you know that this is Babylon? Well, we have the deepest ports. Babylon has the deepest ports. The only place you can bring cargo ships of this size, as large as they are. In Babylon, you can buy gold, silver, and I'm reading verse 12. You can buy gold, silver, precious stones, pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, scarlet, thyine wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and of iron, and of marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots. Those are cars sitting out on the water. And slaves, and souls of men. That's what you can get in Babylon. So, here we are. Again, please do not spend your time trying to celebrate a fake holiday that is not real, because they're going to make you spend all of your money on Christmas. But what happens after Christmas? If you're set, hey, then, don't even worry about it. Just keep doing your thing, live your life. But for the brothers and sisters that aren't set, that with the mindset that we want to give our child a better life than we had, we want to get them the things that we weren't able to get when we were kids, and it's not time for that mindset anymore. We need to get past that. We are called to prepare. And the Most High has given us things to show us, like this video with these container ship shortages and all of that. Everybody's talking about it, but I haven't seen anybody show you how it lines up with the holy text, with the scriptures. And so hopefully we put something on your mind to make you see that there are some things that are unfolding that we want to look the other way for some reason. And now is not the time to be looking the other way. Brothers and sisters, the Most High's return is imminent. He is preparing to return to gather his children. There's no need in watching and praying if you don't know what you're watching and praying for. And one doesn't work without the other. There's no need to watch if you don't know what you're praying about. And there's no need to pray if you don't know what you're watching for. This is coming. It is imminent. I would suggest that we take the time that we have and prepare. Get yourself prepared for this cold winter that's coming up. And if it's not a cold winter, so what? You're still prepared. But don't go spend all of your money on Christmas, on a fake holiday, for a fake Messiah that has nothing to do with the birth of the true Messiah. Nothing at all. This is about money. Christmas is about money and images and idols, and it's just pagan tradition. So, with that being said, brothers and sisters, if you like the content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, hit the notification bell, all of those things that need to happen so that we can stay in touch and you can continue to get this type of information that you may get from somewhere else, you may not. But we're going to try to keep ours biblically based and show the Most High's people what we feel He's revealing to us in these last days. With that being said, brothers and sisters, love and peace to you. And until the next video, we'll see you later. We out.